The WNBA cannot get out of their own way. Every time this league gets even a little bit of momentum, they find a way to bring it to a complete halt. The fact that there's any kind of momentum at all is kind of a miracle. But it's those flashes of public interest that I believe proves there is a market for women's sports. It's just the league and the media are their own worst enemies. Hi, welcome back to the channel for a new segment I'm going to call Rob's Rants, because this issue has been incrementally annoying me for over a year now. Last year, I made a video asking if Caitlin Clark could save the WNBA, a league that is almost completely subsidized by the NBA. In that video, I was overall pretty positive about the WNBA, on a site that constantly dunks on it. And what did I get for that positive outlook? Someone immediately insinuated that I was racist, so sick. But in that original video, I gave basic suggestions on how to improve the league. Market your stars, make more connections locally, go all grassroots on building a foundation for future success. And since that video, the WNBA time after time keeps stepping on very avoidable rakes. Whether it's the players demanding more money from a league that in its current state could not exist on its own, the alleged bullying of straight players, making overtly divisive political statements,
thank you guys for taking a minute to honor the life of George Floyd,
and even the treatment of their new star player, Caitlin Clark. Ever since Clark entered the league, she has been treated like a piñata. This is not what I meant by market your stars. Earlier this season, Caitlin made a very smart basketball play by hard fouling Angel Reese to prevent her from getting her own knee bound. And the media tried to make this story bigger than it should have been because Reese wildly overreacted to this play. Then when that didn't stick because it was completely ridiculous, there were claims that the fans in Indiana were being racist by making monkey noises. Again, completely unfounded. I don't think in today's society, with everyone having a camera in their pocket, you can get away with this. But the WNBA still had to conduct an entire investigation, which turned out to just be fans screaming to distract a free throw attempt. Sorry, WNBA, I know you're not used to fans in the stands, but this shit happens at the high school level. But by all means, keep trying to find reasons for people to hate you, especially the fans in Indiana.
If this was the other way around, oh Lord, you can only imagine how the conversation would have gone.
Hey McNutt, keep that same energy for later in this video. The media has a very weird obsession with race and the WNBA. Now, I don't know who thought releasing this clip would do anything positive for the league, but they did it.
Paige, Bueckers! Us as black women, Paige reminds me a lot of you. Like, you say you're not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball. But, like, she understands her privilege. It's like what pushes her over the top, in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you. And I mean, that's a compliment.
Please, Asia, keep disregarding the lifetime of hard work from your white coworkers and chalking up their success to privilege. But Asia, I know something about you. You went to Heathwood. That's a private school. I can't decide what is the most white thing about A'ja Wilson, her $23,000 a year private school, or the fact that she's named after a Steely Dan song. It's this divisive shit that turns people off of the WNBA, this perpetual victim mentality. A'ja, completely disregard your own privilege. You've reached the pinnacle of your profession. You've made it. Why make this point? You know you're mic'd up. It's more infuriating knowing that your grade school cost roughly $250,000 more than Paige Bueckers, the woman she's referring to as privileged, who was raised by her father and went to public school. This isn't about privilege, it's delusion. And delusion seems to be a key flaw in the WNBA. The media should be the biggest ally to the WNBA, considering ESPN dropped Major League Baseball and is going forward with the WNBA. ESPN and the media think they're helping, but they end up doing way more harm than good. This segment from ESPN's First Take is the biggest example of what I'm talking about. A quick backstory before this clip. Earlier this week, there was another example of Caitlin Clark getting treated like a nerd in an 80s movie, where she was poked in the eye, which does happen during the game of basketball, and this was most likely not done with malice, even though that swipe wasn't really towards the ball at all. But I'll give JC Sheldon the benefit of the doubt. But then Sheldon reinitiated contact and Caitlin Clark pushed her off, subsequently getting knocked to the ground by a third player, Marina Mayberry, in the most unnecessary shoulder check I've ever seen in any women's sport. And the following day, this was the response by ESPN's First Take. Just by the title of this video alone, it seems like clear rage bait.
I don't need to start because I wouldn't even have put this in the show,
No, you need
honestly.
to start.
This is the only thing being debated online right now. And the name of your show is First Take. You have one of the biggest stories of the season so far in the WNBA, and you're annoyed you have to even talk about it? So what was First Take's first take on this cheap shot?
Do I want the WNBA to turn into WWE? No, of course not. But I do think that the idea that competition does not allow for space for tempers to flare at times, that's ridiculous. We can look at this across any sport, right? Particularly when there are men, and if things get heated, we chalk it up to, oh, they were passionate, and it's nothing, right?
No! This might be the most out-of-pocket shove in league history. This isn't passionate play. It's Bush League. And men in the NBA aren't given a pass for actions like this just because they're men. Patrick Beverley shoved Chris Paul like this a few years ago, and everyone collectively called him a bitch. And this very show called out Beverley for that shove.
You can say it's rare that I'm critical of Patrick Beverley because I love the kid. I know him, I know his family, but that was real Bush League.
Speaking of Stephen A., what was his first take on this particular shove on Caitlin Clark?
Clearly, when it comes to Caitlin Clark, there's some resentment, as I've articulated before. What people are missing, Monica, is I have no problem with it whatsoever.
Oh.
Okay, yes, there's resentment because, first of all, you're absolutely right. This is much ado about nothing. In the heat of competition, tempers flare. You know, last time I checked, women got tempers just like men do. Ain't no problem. Ain't no problem at all. Ain't no big deal at all. I love it personally.
Holy fucking airball. Stephen A. takes a very different stance on this very similar incident. Was this not Bush League, Stephen A.? Also, look at this smug look on Monica McNutt's face while he makes this point. I can't believe one of ESPN's biggest criticisms is race baiting. But Stephen A. would go on to give an even worse take.
There's also resentment towards her because she instigates resentment towards her sometimes. Oh, Caitlin can clap at you now.
Yes.
Caitlin can antagonize you now. So the vitriol that she gets, some of it is self-induced.
Self-induced? It almost sounds like Stephen A. is endorsing this behavior. Caitlin Clark talks shit on the court, and that opens her up to physical assault. Got it. They slowly turn this segment into, hey Caitlin, talk shit, get hit, with Stephen A. using a lot of revisionist history, making a lot of Caitlin's trash talking from college and the pros seem much more in the opponent's face and more disrespectful than it actually was.
Remember in college, doggy, remember in college, Eminem, the whole Angel Reese thing with her started because when Caitlin was giving it to everybody else, she was the one waving in their face. And that's why when Angel Reese and LSU got a hold of her, Angel Reese was like, yeah, it's your turn. That's where it came from. It was instigated by Caitlin Clark. She got her comeuppance and she was big enough to embrace it and accept it and say, yo, I deserve it. It was my turn.
Yeah. That was more in passing. Like it was, like, you know, people that kind of like, they'll trash talk, but they don't really want to trash talk. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean, CC? It's like the trash talk.
I get where you're coming from.
I'm popping off at the mouth as I walk away from you. That's different than me popping off the mouth in your face.
Yeah, those aren't nearly the same thing, as pointed out at the time by Barstool founder Dave Portnoy, who was also very critical of this play on X, calling the entire thing, including the league, a joke. And he's absolutely correct, and is vocalizing a lot of the common fans' frustration with the league. If I've learned anything from the internet and Dave Portnoy, is you do not want to be on his bad side. First Take also had Mad Dog Russo on the panel for some reason. Hey, aren't you supposed to be retired?
I'll say this right now. If they win the next 2 games and win this series in 7 games, if they win, I will retire
Whatever, coward. Go ahead and slur your way through your response.
I mean, she's got a lot of Pistol Pete in her.
Because she's white?
#1 pick. Holly, fun offensive player at Iowa, Pistol Pete at LSU. But there has to be some level of professional resentment because Caitlin Clark's in all the State Farm commercials. She's made a fortune off the court. She hasn't won a championship yet.
She hasn't won a championship yet. She's played one complete season, and she went first overall, which means she was taken by the worst team in the league. The media has set the most ridiculous set of standards for Caitlin Clark and continually refuse to give her any credit. They also keep dancing around the term jealousy, which Monica McNutt mentions next.
There's no way you cannot tell me that there isn't some level of annoyance that she's gotten all this publicity early on.
Okay, let me just say this. I appreciate y'all being very mindful of your word choices today, and nobody has said jealous because I was ready to go off if somebody said jealous. Professional resentment, annoyance, whatever you want to say.
Oh my God, what a weak-minded individual. Go ahead and use all of the synonyms for jealous. Just don't say jealous because me and the other WNBA players are not jealous. Then host Molly McCarran comes in with a ridiculous comparison about MMA and the WNBA.
But in terms of people watching women being physical, I remember a time when I was on a show, MMA Live, here at ESPN. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. And I was told that women will never fight in the UFC. Like, no one ever wants to see that. You can't see, and now look at it.
You know your take's bad when this is Stephen A's response. Not only is this not really relevant at all, I don't even think it's true. MMA Live was on the air for just over a year, ending in 2011, and the women's divisions were introduced the following year, 2012. So, thanks for that, Molly. And this part at the end might be my favorite part of the segment. After spending the last 10 minutes or so railing on the trash talking and physicalness, Russo says this.
So I don't care who it is, when you make it 3, I hate when men do it, women
like
do
a celebration.
Take it easy. And the tongue running down the court.
I love it.
I can't stand
because they're into it.
You love it? I guess it makes sense now why no one on this panel ever once condemned the shove. Seriously, First Take spent the entire time completely ignoring the main problem everyone had with this play: the unnecessary roughness from Marina Mabrey and the complete lack of control from the officiating, which included Mabrey not even getting ejected from the game or receiving a flagrant 2 foul at the time, even after they reviewed it. The league quietly changed it the next day, but still, not getting control of the game most likely led to this foul by Sophie Cunningham, where 3 players were ejected for honestly less. People get annoyed with the NBA when they coddle their star players, letting them get away with more than the average player solely because they are a superstar of the league. But you cannot level that criticism on the WNBA because they treat Caitlin Clark like everyone else, maybe even less than sometimes. And this is the problem. Whether you like it or not, people are looking at the WNBA right now because of Caitlin Clark. And when they see her getting mistreated, knocked around, and remaining so unbelievably professional, it makes them like her even more. This was her reaction immediately after getting poked in the eye, shoved, and checked to the floor.
Lexi Hall now gets in Sheldon's face. Caitlin Clark hits the deck. Big Ten against Big Ten, Ohio State and Iowa.
And these were her post-game comments.
I'm a passionate player, but at the end of the day, I'm here to play basketball, and that's what it is, and my game's gonna talk, and that's all that really matters, and I love this game, and I'm gonna give it everything I have, so I think that's what competitors do. You just step right back up to the challenge.
This is a Larry Fitzgerald level of professionalism. Caitlin Clark fans aren't hating the player, they're hating the game. And it's directly because of the media's tone-deaf takes, the entitlement of the players, and the sheer incompetence of the league. Resentment only leads to more resentment. And until the WNBA learns that, they are doomed to be a charity case for the NBA forever. Thanks for tuning into the rant about the WNBA. This whole thing has just been so annoying for so long. If any of you in the comments want to keep me up to date with the happenings of the WNBA, go ahead, because I think I'm done following this league for a while. Like, comment, subscribe if you feel so inclined, and other than that, a league almost completely subsidized. I almost said sodomized.